Alright kids, welcome back to 396 Guitars. We're working on a Gibson SG today. Let's get to it. I'll explain what's going on. Neat little guitar, nice little guitar. Pickups are coming out and we are going to, I've already taken the bridge and the Bigsby off, saved all that gear. We're kind of converting this. He's putting some bare knuckles in it. We do not have the pickups yet, but we have to proceed with other work, and I'm going to show you right now what that entails, because I told him that for the amount of work we're doing to swap out the pickups, we might as well take care of this other issue while we're in there. And some of you may argue this, and you can, it's your prerogative, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, alright, what's the problem? Stubborn screw. In my humble opinion, these printed circuit board type systems are tone killers. I don't like them. They're okay. And I mean just okay until they're not. And then you have to convert them anyway, because once they go bad, try to buy that. The three-way switch is kind of wonky. It doesn't feel right. And again, if I'm going to be in here doing all this, that's getting changed. I don't know what kind of output jack it is, but I may do that while we're in here as well. So everything gets unplugged. Basically, if it cooperates, and this is the reason why when you're doing a pickup swap, what you have to do, and some of you have seen me do that before, this little lead right here, okay, where are we? Right there. That little lead, that's for the bridge pickup. You have to cut that and splice the new pickup into it. Okay, no bueno. It's a pain in the butt. It can be done. It can be done. But every time you unplug that snippet and solder new joints and stuff and try to stick it back in there, you got a big bundle there. Color codes don't match. You got to make sure you're putting the right color to its opposing color. But I digress. It's just, we're not doing it that way. We're going to convert it. We're going to put good 500K CTS pots in it. I'm going to take the pickups out first. The three-way switch is going to come out, and then get the board out. And there's our body ground right there. Not sure how. Oh, there we go. You just push it down. That's our bridge ground, right? So that part's pretty easy. And on the other side, three-way switch, out. It's one of those that when you pull it into the neck position, it feels like it wants to pop back too easily by itself. It doesn't lock into that position. It just kind of doesn't even say on it what it is. I'd like to think that it's a switchcraft, but if it was, like my brand new one here, it says switchcraft right on it. Good stuff. Basic. There's not much to these, but they do fail. Sorry to tell you. Alright, out come the pot, which is a printed circuit board. So the washer is, the nuts aren't. Way to go, Gibson. I guess everybody's cheaping out on everything these days. Output jack. It's going to be a pleasure to actually work on something other than a hollow body. Seems like that's all I've had in the shop lately is rewiring hollow bodies. And that is the entire unit right there. Are they terrible? No, but in my opinion, they're tone suckers. And if you want to rewire it in a different configuration, you know, which is what we're going to do. We're going to do 50s style wiring on it. You can't do it with that. You can, but you're messing around heating up a printed circuit board, and a lot of times it'll just burn or overheat, and you're done anyway. So, yeah, I digress. The output jack, again, doesn't say, oh wait, this one actually says, Switchcraft on it, so we may reuse that. Where is the, why did this not say Switchcraft on it anywhere? It kind of bothers me. And even when you, it's got to be a Switchcraft. But it should say Switchcraft right there on it. It looks identical to this one in every regard. Well, except these are flathead and these are Phillips head. And this one feels better. It's more crisp and makes contact better. This one doesn't. No, we're in there, we're switching it. And I know this client, he would prefer that I make an executive decision like that. We're going to keep this Switchcraft output jack and just snip it and reuse it, if we can. Okay, out come the pickups. We really don't have to take them out yet, but we're going to, because I don't have them yet, so we're not going to be finishing this job today. But what we're going to do is get the control cavity put back together. Pots, output jack, three-way switch. There's our pickups. Gibson USA. Yeah, okay. Where did I put? I keep all my hardware in bags together so I know everything goes back the same way and I don't get mixed up with other guitar jobs, other instruments and other jobs. Alright, I talk too much. Let's get at it. Boy, when you get all that gear out of there, it's amazing how light these instruments really are. First things first, CTS pots. I want to fit them. I'm going to solder the whole unit inside the guitar on this one because it's easy. I'm going to show you how to fit one so that you have the right spacing. Let's say this is our, we'll call this one our neck volume. It needs a lock washer on it. So there's two nuts. There's a nut down here, and that's what you're going to use to adjust the height of the post that sticks out the other side. So you have just enough thread to put the other washer and a nut. And it looks like this one's going to have to go all the way down. It looks like. Because you don't want your knobs on the other side being too tall on the face of the guitar. Does that make any sense? And that's our flat washer. You want the nut, hopefully, will cover all the threads but not expose any of them. And that'll tell you that you got enough and you're pretty much where you need to be. Boy, everything's going to fight me today, I can see it. I'm just going to snug it. See if I can get the knob on it and what it looks like. So you can see that the nut goes on with a washer to protect the body, and it covers all of the threads, the nut, without exposing any more. If there's threads sticking up, then go back, take it out, and adjust the nut on the inside. And then just to test it, doesn't matter if it's a volume or not. And it should be, if you hold it sideways, you should be able to see the nut, but you don't want it up, prone too high. And that's perfect. That is exactly what you want to see right there. Right? Back off. And I'm going to go ahead and fit the rest of them off camera, and we're going to get ready to do some soldering, so stand by. So I'm going to show you a few steps here. We prepped all of the backs. We scratched up a couple of spots where we're going to put our ground points. We're going to flow some solder on those right now. And I have also pushed on the volume pots, you have to ground this terminal and this terminal. So I just push them, get them close, scrape off a little spot there, and the solder will flow and make that ground just like that. I'll show you just how that works right now. And it's pretty easy. Get your solder iron up to temperature and get it right on there. And you just kind of get that solder to flow over so that it's nice and clean joint. Nice and clean joint, which you did not want to cooperate because that wire's in the way. There we go. We got to put our body ground right over here, which looks to me like it's got a little paint on it. I'm going to try to burn that off and tin it. Yep. And then hold it down right on the back of that pot. And once it's attached, we can clean up the joint. Probably going to need a little more on there. Right? Just like that. It's got memory, so it's trying to spring back up. This will do it. Yahtzee. Now, same thing over here. I'm going to put a little extra right there for our ground wire that comes from, we have to ground each pot together. Puddle. A little puddle over here. And there. Don't need a lot, but it's got to be enough for it to create its ground when you go to put everything back together. Perfect. pre-tin your lugs. It just helps facilitate putting everything together. You just kind of heat it up, put a little solder on there, and it will actually close up the hole. Try not to hoof all the smoke. Your joint should look pretty silver when you're done. Clean silver, not dull. I think I'm running out of solder. Nice. So everything's ready to solder now. Everything's preloaded. First thing I'm going to do is run our ground wires around for each one. And you got to go bing, 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 bing. And that connects everything and makes brings your ground to continuity. And I keep every little spare piece of wire because you never know what you're going to need or how long or how short. Now, I like to put enough that I can run the wire underneath the pot. So if this looks like it's way too long, it's not, because it's going to go there, go down underneath the pot, and then come back around so it looks like that, instead of having them all on top. So I'm going to show you the first one, and then I'm going to kind of stop while I do, save a little video time. These are pre-tinned and they have memory, so they generally agree and work pretty good for this sort of thing. They're cloth covered, so you just push it back. There's no bearing of the wire or any of that shenanigans. And the wire inside is pre-tinned, which I love. Load up your solder tip. Start your first joint. Which it's not agreeing. It helps if I have the iron flat. There we go. Gentle tug tells you you're home. And then bring it around to the next joint where you want it to be, which for this one, I'm going to put it right there. And that way I can tuck everything down out of the way. That ground wire is done and it connects those two. I have to put one there and one there, and the same sort of thing. I'm going to try to make it go, tuck it in the back where it's out of the way, so it doesn't get in the way of my other work, because we got quite a bit of other stuff to put in there. So pause quickly, stand by. I'm going to try to do some of this other and then come back. So stay tuned. All right, so we're back. I put one cap on. I'm putting the second one on, and it goes from the left lug to the tone to center lug of volume. And you just kind of, they come with big long leads on, big long leads like that. And just kind of bend them and get it close, and then snip them off where you think you're going to need. Get it close anyway. Yeah. A little bit on the end, get it warm. hooked up, approximate where it's going to go. I know my hand is probably in the way. That one needs a little more love. On a nice clean joint, fill the hole, which it's not cooperating. Here we go. Hold it until it seats. Oh, that's really not cooperating. It happens. Here we go. Alright, what's the problem? Something contaminated the end of it, I think. You gotta clean it off and start over. Yeah. There we go. Yep. Nice clean joint. And then bend it around to get close to where you want it on the other one. And kind of get it to where it's close. And then all you do is heat up the lug and push it through. Right? That one needs to be cleaned up too. I don't know why they're giving me so much trouble today. There we go. Nice. Nice and clean. You got both your caps in. And, you know, again, General Tug will tell you that you're home. Now, that's going to be for a pickup. That's going to be for a pickup, but the rest of this is done except for the three-way switch. I'm going to do the output jack last. Let's see if we can't get our three-way mounted. This we're going to have to do outside because it's just too tight in there. So stand by. So just to finish up today, I'm going to show you what I did here. Off camera, I put yellow is to the three-way switch, the new Switchcraft three-way switch. Yellow is going to the neck pot. The short white lead goes to the bridge pot. The long white lead is going to be the tip for the output jack, and the black one is going to be ground, obviously. So now we can take it off of my solder's helper, my little helper clamp off. I think now we can go ahead and mount our three-way switch because our wires are soldered in and I know what they are. You follow? So I have to move my camera back up. I just wanted to show this last part so you know exactly what's happening there. Looks like a gangly mess, but now I know by color code what's what and by length because we have two whites. So stand by. So the rest of this should go pretty quickly. All we got to do is measure where we want each wire to go. So we know this is going to be our output, so we can get rid of that. Make it come out the other side so I don't get it confused, right? Makes sense, I guess. I just don't need it right now. That's my output jack. So the yellow is my neck, which is this guy right here. It has to go to the center lug. And we want it to be down out of the way as much as possible. Right? So measure it, snip it, tin it, and solder it. it's a messy business sometimes. But pay attention, go slow. Goes to the center lug. Not cooperating today. There we go. They're not cooperating today. Usually don't have to clean up those joints afterwards, but today they seem something corrosion. Something got on either my tip or is on the pots, the lugs on the pots. It's possible. Alright, that one. And this one is for the bridge. And it has to do kind of the same thing. I'm going to pull it around this way so it's kind of out of the way. Or would it be better that way? I think so, just like that. I'm a nut about having wires kind of being out of the way as much as possible. It just makes it easier later on for the next guy or me if this, we end up doing a job on it. Knowing where everything is, it's easy to see. Yeah, let's see. I like that. Now all we got to do is get our ground on, and let's get this guy out of the way. Down, out of the way. Since I made such a point of saying get the wires out of the way, just like that. Tucked out of the way, not touching anything else. Everything is secure. Ground. Right there. Doesn't need to be any longer than that. Get it flowing, make sure it's secured. Make sure you burn your finger really well. And then tug on it. Yeah, we're golden. That job is done. And to give you an idea of how clean it looks when you're done, this cap will be pushed down out of the way a little bit, but that's it right in a nutshell. Nice and clean, three-way switch. The only thing we didn't do is the output jack. That's going to come later. But everything is in there and it's nice and clean and done the way I like it. And it's wired up like a 50s Les Paul, or in this case an SG, which is going to make it scream when it gets those bare knuckles. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. Thanks for watching. We'll talk soon. Thanks for all your support. And if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe.